being regarded as a disruptive prisoner, when I was sent to Maidstone, which is a really relaxed prison, they gave me a red band, which is a trustee's band. Now, normally you've got to be in a prison for a long while to get one. And you've got to show you're trustful. But what they did was give it to me in order to appease me, to keep me calm. So when I looked at my red band, it was dated 2 days before I got into the prison, which was completely crazy. So I was a red band 2 days before I got to the prison. What my job was to empty all the bins. So in the evening, when all the wings were locked up, I would get all the bins, take them down to the main place where you empty the bins, and then take them back to the wing on a wheelbarrow. Well, to do this, I had to walk past the canteen, which was an outside building. And when I was walking along, I see a couple of other people there, and they was acting a little bit furtive. So I said, like, what's going on? And they said, well, what? We're sorting out the canteen. I said, what do you mean you're sorting out the canteen? Anyway, they was up on the roof taking all the putty out of the windows and slid the glass down. So they've jumped in and they're handing all the stuff out. And we've cleared all the canteen. So I've put all this stuff into the bins, which was for me. Everybody was taking their own stuff. What was for me, I put it in the bins, took the bins up, took the bins back to the landings. This was about 6 o'clock in the evening when everybody had been let out for association. But only the red bands could go outside at this time. So when I come back, I put the bins on the bottom landing, and the bins with all the stuff in I took up to my landing and then distributed to a couple of cells, just in case they realised what had happened, come to search me. So I ended up with about 600 quid's worth of phone cards, about 200 quid's worth of tobacco and tins of food and whatnot. And 2 days later, I was back on the bus again, down to Winston Green. From Red Band trustee to the segregation unit.
And how long you spent in the Winston Green?
About 11 months. I'm not sure of the date. When I say 1991, I'm not sure of the date, because I remember Fred killing himself. Fred West. So whatever date that was, that's when it was.
Okay. And so why did you end up spending 11 months down in the Seg? Was that your own misbehavings there, or was that a punishment for doing the canteen?
It was you see, when you're known as disruptive and a troublemaker, they don't want you in their prison. And so when you do get sent to a prison, they accept you reluctantly, because the Home Office have forced them and said, look, you will take this inmate. So what they do, they just put you in their segregation unit and leave you to rot until they can move you on to somebody else. It's like, I found a loophole in the punishment system. When they would give me something like 56 days punishment from the Board of Visitors, I would keep causing more offences. So it would build up and build up and build up. So I would end up with about 1.5 years punishment. And then I would start arguing with them every day, making their life a misery. So they would move me somewhere else. Now, there was a method behind my madness. The reason why I would keep getting more and more and more and more punishment, because another prison wouldn't accept you on punishment. And because they were desperate to get rid of you, they rescinded the punishment. So I could end up with 1.5 years worth of punishment, but I'd only do 10 days of it.
Fucking
because another prison wouldn't accept you on punishment. They would accept you on good order and discipline, which meant you was in a segregation unit, but they wouldn't accept you on punishment. So if ever I was put on punishment, I would continue to create more and more and more and more problems until such time as they decided to move me. They'd had enough and moved me.
So did you ever actually make it onto the wing at Winston Green after the 11 months, or was it, like you said, you just got
I've
straight
never seen the wing in Winston. I've been to Winston Green about 6 or 7 times, and I've never seen the wing. I couldn't even tell you what it looked like in Winston Green.
And then do you remember where you got swagged then after the 11 months where you got taken?
No, because I'll tell you one of the most difficult things. Sometimes I'll be telling you what happened. I can tell you what happened. I can't tell you when. And sometimes I mistaken the prison that it happened in, and I'll tell you why. When you're constantly moved and moved and moved and moved, it becomes disorientating. When you're on a ghost train, you don't know what the dates are. You don't know when you was here, and you don't know when you was there, because you could be here for 1 day, there for 3 days, there for 7 days, there for 20 days. And it kind of disrupts that.
And on the ghost train, when you're in the block and they're coming to take you to another one, do they even tell you where you're going, or they just put you in the van and you just mystery?
No, they just say, come on, you're going.
Yeah.
I've been in a prison before where I'm waiting for a visit. And they come to me and say, you're getting moved. And I say, but hold on, my family have travelled all the way from London up north to visit me. And when I've been leaving in the van, I've seen my family standing outside the prison waiting to get in to see me.
Of course. And remind us how many moves roughly you had in your 27 years, Pep.
In 27 years, disciplinary moves, I've had about 97. Round about there. That's not counting normal moves, whatever normal is. But disciplinary moves, I've had over 90.
So you must have seen pretty much every prison or every block in the country then.
Yeah.
Fucking madness.
And the thing is, you don't go to, when they move you to a different prison, you don't go through reception. You go from segregation unit to segregation unit.
Yeah.
So some of them prisons, I couldn't even tell you what their reception looks like.
And for all those years, you'd be associating, obviously not face to face, with the other sort of troublesome people, the regulars on the rounds.
Yeah, because what it is, when you're on a ghost train, there's only certain jails that will accept you, that have got the security to accept you. So you always meet other people that are on the ghost train as well. So you'll get there and someone will shout, what's his name's just turned up? And it's like, you build that camaraderie thing. And there's a lot of people that you'll be surprised how many people are on the ghost train.
And so there'd be like the usual suspects, the people who you're in whole special unit, they're normal people who'd be on the ghost train, I'm guessing.
Yeah, yeah.
People like Bronson, would they be on the ghost train as well?
Yeah.
And so there was, like I said, there was more than you think. There was a few dozen of you who were just...
Yeah, because what they do, the reason for the ghost train is if you're disruptive in a prison, in order to give the prison a break, they send you on a ghost train to spread the load kind of thing. So that one prison ain't getting the brunt of it. And it gives them a bit of respite from you.
And remind me, it's not something, if I'm mistaken, it's not something the prison authorities could put you on, isn't it? Something that the Home Office have to sanction you to be on.
It's the Home Office who send you on it. It's not the prison. The prison can request it, but they have to request it from the Home Office.
Yeah.
And then the Home Office decide when you go and where you go.
Probably because it's inhumane or something against human rights.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
And so What's the longest you were ever on the ghost train for, and how do you get off the ghost train then, like once you're on it?
I was at one point, I was on the ghost train for about 28 months. And within that time, I'd had about 40 odd moves. 40, 50 moves. And it's so disruptive in your, you know, you can't say, well, I was there on that date, I was there on that date, because dates don't matter. Because when you're on a ghost train, they don't give you nothing. You don't get a newspaper, so you can't tell what date, so you don't see the dates. You don't get a radio in your cell, you don't get nothing. So it's completely disorientating. And that's why they do it, basically.
And would that break you then? So at the end of, say, 28 months, you don't want any more trouble, you just want to get back on the wing, do you, at that point? Or you got used to it fully at that point?
It's weird because it makes you more resilient. You end up with the attitude, okay, you're going to do that to me. Well, look what I'm going to do to you.
So what is it, a case of like a governor who wanted to give you another chance and saying, look, please just try and sort it out?
What happens is you'll get a governor who will come down to segregation unit and say, look, this has been going on for a long time. How about I'll put you on my wing on normal location. You can use the gym. You can associate freely. And take it from there. Just give yourself a little break. And majority of the time, you're like, nah.
And then, so what sort of behaviours would it be when you're on the ghost train to get put in the strip cells then? Is that a case of, what would you have to do then? Is that when you're doing the
Oh, it's like, to get put in a strip cell when you're on a ghost train, it's one or two things. You either give one of them a clump, or you bucket them, or you shit them up. Then they put you in a strip cell. When I was in Wakefield for 63 days, I was in the strip cell. I don't think there's another inmate who this has happened to. In order to get me out of the strip cell, they come in and muffed me back into a normal cell. I've never heard of that. I've heard of people being muffed into the strip cell, but after 63 days, they forcibly put me in a normal cell. Dressed in mufti and put me in a normal cell.
You're the definition of cutting your nose to spite your face.
Yeah, it's terrible.
You didn't cut your nose, you cut it off.
Yeah, it's terrible. And because I was only supposed to have been in that strip cell for 3 days, 63 days later, I could hear him chatting outside. We have to get him out of that cell. We have to get him out. But my attitude was, if this is the worst thing you've got, and I'm showing you it don't matter, you become impotent.
Unbreakable.
Yeah. Every time he was coming in and saying, look, you've got to go back to normal cell, I go, no, I like it here. I prefer it here, it's nice and quiet.
Where is the strip cell? Is it in the
What
block?
happens is, in the segregation unit, they'll have 2 strip cells, which are off of a corridor.
Okay.
So the other inmates can't hear you and you can't hear them. So they lock the cell door, then they lock another door. So you can't scream and shout to other people.
Can they see through the wall or the ceiling or anything like this? Is it?
You've got a corner where you've got a glass thing and they can look up and look down in there to see where you are before they come in. It was just a battle of attrition. That's what it was. You know, we're going to break you, no, you ain't. And I never ever met a screw or a regime or a governor who broke me.